Yeah,
So,
okay.
hello, welcome CyberwearNFT. We are here with Estelle Pearce, and she is a master in digital fashion, and she was graduated at the Leeds Art University. Then she's got a 15 years background as designer and creative pattern cutter for couture and high-end women's wear. But in 2020, she went closer to digital. So she started to exploring the possibility of like sustainability in fashion. And so from that moment, she started to creating pieces using 3D tools and other technologies. And she exposed her pieces many virtual environments. And also recently at the New York Fashion Week, right?
Yeah.
So today we are gonna like discover her journey, and she's going to share with us an amazing presentation. And so feel free like to ask questions at the end. So
okay, thanks very much, Claudia. It's a nice introduction. Yeah, so as you said, I've created a presentation, so I'll just share my screen now. Yeah, so as you said, I've worked in the fashion industry for over 15 years after I graduated in 2008. And I've been working as a creative pattern cutter and a designer at various different market levels, which has included couture. I've been responsible for sourcing and managing collections, and I've seen the whole process from the initial sampling right through to the final manufacturing. And as Claudia said, I kind of changed my career a little bit. And this was really, it started in the pandemic, where I was kind of exploring areas around sustainability and ethics. And I was listening to talks by the likes of the Fashion Revolution, Helen MacArthur Foundation, and RAP UK. And to be honest, to say that I'd been working for such a long time in the fashion industry, I was really shocked at what I was hearing. And this really started me to question my own practice. And then one of the exciting things that they were starting to talk about was the use of digital fashion and how it was really helping with issues around reducing waste, which obviously results in a more sustainable way of working. So this led me to enroll on the Browseware University program, and really this was my first introduction of using 3D in fashion. And since then, I have literally been hooked. I've just completed my master's degree at Leeds Art University. And I've been researching, trialing and experimenting with lots of digital softwares. And it's kind of allowed me to rediscover my creativity again and have fun and really enjoy fashion. So sorry, just one moment. So one of the main reasons for me to get into digital fashion, as I said, was to improve my own personal practice of designing and pattern cutting process to be more sustainable. So my research has mainly been practice-based, and I've been learning and training on the required skills needed to work in 3D. And I've also been exploring the fashion industry and how digital technologies are helping to improve the current fashion system. So firstly, I feel it's really important to explain about the most dominant fashion industry and why I was really excited to be moving into digital fashion. So these two statements really help to demonstrate that we're basically living in this era where fast fashion is the norm. And as consumers, we're being encouraged to buy more frequently. And these items are then classed as kind of these disposable items. and the industry is basically overproducing, which uses labour and takes natural resources. So my research really has allowed me to reflect on the current fashion product cycle. And this is seen to take this linear approach of design, make and sell, which is being pushed by profit-led organisations, with kind of a little reflection being given to the resources or the labour demands required for this production. And basically garments are being overproduced on the assumption that they're going to be purchased, with real little care being given to the aftercare of these products. So luckily, the planetary and social impacts of fashion are being brought to consumers' attentions, and they are starting to become much more savvier with their purchases. But obviously, the effects of the fashion industry is still having a dramatic impact on the environment. And here I've just highlighted some of the astonishing effects that fashion is having on both planet and people. So one of the biggest shocks for me was this vast increase in the textile waste, and this is just UK figures, but it's seen as being more than doubled since the kind of mid-1970s, and that's per person. And it's also worth noting that all the waste per year, just in the UK alone, is equaling 180 tonnes of waste, which is being sent to landfill, which is valued at £140 million. And another thing to point out is kind of this, only 1% of all of this waste is actually being recycled back into new products. So two major areas of really accelerated change in the fashion industry, and these come from the global pandemic and sustainability and ethics. And this has really had direct effects on aspects of business, and basically in order for brands to survive, they're really having to reevaluate their whole supply chain and marketing strategies. And problems were really highlighted during the pandemic, which we saw the fall of many fashion brands as they really struggled to develop their collections, plus their production, and also failed to engage with their consumers, who obviously no more could come into stores. So alongside this, there's further changes from government objectives and global goals. And brands are really having to kind of make steps to make changes to fall in with this. And basically, this is where digital technologies are really being explored in their ability to help in areas of design, production, consumer interaction and engagement, and also through its ability to provide this much needed level of transparency. So digital and sustainability are seen as being huge areas of growth. And the digital space is offering an opportunity to explore new ways of engaging with consumers, be that through gaming platforms, NFTs, or augmented and virtual realities. And also there's a increased expected rise of the augmented self, with digital environments being explored more. So there's this increasing need for digital assets, as avatars will want to be dressed to express their own identities. So digital technologies are allowing for a big shake-up in the traditional fashion cycle, in its ability to be able to offer this on-demand fashion cycle. So this model is seen as being more a sustainable way of producing, and it allows for a more considered offer that is able to add also this level of customization that consumers can develop products that they like, and in some cases can even input their own kind of print styles as well and things like that. So this model really starts with the creation and development of digital assets that can be tested for fit and function, reducing the need of physical samples, whilst also kind of offering this opportunity to really develop the product. So the digital assets can then be put to market on multiple platforms, and obviously the final stage can be made once a sale has been made. So good examples of brands that are currently using this model can be seen in Vans, and Vans are actually using it on part of their footwear, where consumers can go and adapt quite a few styles that they have on there and order those. And that, I think it takes a couple of weeks before the items come. So they're not ready straight away, and consumers are having to change and think about consuming differently. But other brands that are also using this model are great examples like Aticat and Unspun, who are also using other technologies such as body scanning, or offering this ability to really see the different sizes on avatars. So in order to be able to sell physical products with digital assets, there's a need to create a digital twin. And a digital twin is a digital representation of a real world object. But once a digital twin has been made, it can be used in lots of ways in the industry, including communicating internally and externally, for marketing, or being put straight to sale backed by a physical garment, or there's even the opportunity to sell this just as a digital only garment. And these are two examples of some digital twins which I've created. So these are two pieces from my abstraction collection. So where I'd created the physical garments. So I basically use this as a way of experimenting and trialing. And obviously, because I understood how the garments worked and all the problems that could occur with making these in the physical world, it was a great way for me to trial this and experiment with it. But I was really pleased with the final outcomes of these, and being able to kind of assess the time scale as well, which obviously was vastly reduced. So working in 3D really has allowed me to experiment a lot more without kind of this worry of having excesses of waste. And it's also offered me an opportunity to quickly trial ideas and concepts. And I've basically been using my time in this digital space to really explore lots of digital applications and softwares, and I've been experimenting with 3D printing, laser cutting, experimental pattern cutting, and print designs. And I've also used it as a way to kind of artistically express my ideas. So one of the areas I've chose to research in more depth has been laser cutting. So this was a new technique for me. So I did actually take some time to look at this in the physical world, trialing different cuts techniques and different fabric types, and really kind of seeing how this works. But obviously after my initial experiments and kind of gaining a better understanding, I've been able to then take this into Flow, where I've been able to really test and experiment, and I found it a really great way to trial new ideas and see how it affects the materials and the structure of the garments, whilst obviously reducing the need of physical samples. And another thing I really love about working in 3D is this ability to quickly change original items, original creations. So these are garments from my Rhythms digital collection, where I've, after creating the initial garment, I was quickly able to trial different lengths, print layouts, color combinations, and start to add different design aspects. So really it allows for this much more iterations to take place, and opportunity to really develop in a short time scale. And as I had mentioned earlier about this rise in avatars and our augmented selves, I've been exploring avatar creation. I've mainly been using DAZ 3D, which is a free software where you're able to quickly develop and create avatars. And I really like this platform because it offers this realism, which is something that I like. I know some people kind of don't, you know, some people have got different aesthetics, but I really like this realism that it offers. But within this software, you're really able to kind of add things like footwear, poses, animations, and then all of this can quite easily come into Clo3D, where you can then start obviously dressing these avatars. And I've also more recently been creating my own meta-human. So I've been looking at how to create that. And if you remember from the first slide, that was my meta-human. But I've still got quite a bit of learning to do with how to use that in the Unreal platform. So I'll be developing that a bit further. So NFTs have allowed for this adoption of fashion, with digital art and assets being sold on blockchain. And this was a collaboration with Fu Machine and Mason Dow. And this basically was my first experience of selling my art as an NFT. So for this project, I've created this futuristic digital-only dress, and the print work, I used Python code and Illustrator, and I created this short animation that was sold on the Fu Machine NFT marketplace. So with regards NFTs, I've not really been in a massive rush to sell my pieces as NFTs. And I think that's due to me coming from a background of physical and really wanting to add more utility to the digital assets, and not just wanting to sell the digital assets just as they are. So I've been exploring how I can start to add more utility, and I've been looking at the Snapchat, so using Snap Studio to create filters, which I've then been able to list on Snapchat and kind of see that engagement. But again, as I said earlier, with the Unreal is something I need to look at. I want to explore other avenues of how I can start adding more utility to my digital assets. So yeah, as you mentioned, I was part of the Digital Fashion Week New York, and really working in this digital space has kind of started to open up lots of new opportunities for me. So with this, I showed my Rhythms digital catwalk collection as part of the fashion animation screening, but I was also part of the pure digital section. And this was really a great experience, and it allowed me to use the Vantana platform. So you have to get your file format set out correctly, but then once you upload it to there, it reduces kind of the polygons and does all kinds of magic. But then it produces this QR code, which then you're able to scan, and on a device you can view the asset in 360. But you can also place it using AR. So obviously it's a great way for the industry to be showing their work in other ways, where customers are able to obviously get up close with these items. So that's been a really great opportunity. So other opportunities have come from lots of collaborations, and I've been really fortunate to work with Kadeen James of the Immersive Kind on lots of projects. I'm sorry, I don't know whether that was flashing on your screen. It's not playing that great, so apologies for that. But yeah, this has been a great chance for me to really start to understand kind of different industry requirements and aspects of different file formats that vary across platforms. But it's also been a great opportunity for me to dress avatars which I haven't created. And many of the projects I've worked on have involved dressing Kadeen's avatar, with which have then led to further collaborations with other creators. And really it's been an exciting way to see what can be created. And basically collaborating in this way has started me to open up to considering new opportunities for digital fashion, and how these opportunities can take place, really. But it's also been a perfect placement to showcase my work, and lots of my work's been shown in the Immersive Kinds spatial gallery. So this was a collaboration that I did as part of Mason Now. So I'm a key contributor for Mason Now, and I was asked to produce some football kits after Mason Dow had won this bid to showcase for the iTech Cup. So I created 2 football kits, and typically I'm a women's wear designer. So being asked to do some football kits isn't something I've ever done before. So I really saw this as a perfect opportunity for me to start using AI within my design process. I'd been using AI to generate backdrops for other pieces of work, but not really used it for the design process. So I, after some prompts, started to get some really nice imagery, which I felt I could use either aspects of the designs and really start using it to work with the design process. So yeah, using this led me to create these 2 pieces, and these were shown during halftime during the football match, and again this was shown in this immersive kind spatial gallery. So this was a great opportunity and something new for me. And then my latest collaboration has been with the Brazilian artist Alan Teixeira, and I've taken 2 of his 1980s prints, Machines and Fancy City, and created 2 streetwear outfits, which I've animated and created a short video for. And this really has been a great experience to work with others' artwork and play around with like best placement, and really find appropriate styles to really showcase the artwork. And again, I've created this filter of a sweater dress, which has currently had just under 100,000 views on Snapchat. And really, by doing this, it's really a great way for me to be able to share my digital garments and also witness its engagement, which is, you know, something that we don't always get to see. And yeah, this has been my digital journey so far. I still feel like I've got absolutely loads to learn, as you probably hear. There's always something developing, but I'm loving kind of being part of this change and experimenting and really developing myself. Yeah, and that's.
Thank you so much. It was really nice, and I really got information so fast.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
Okay, great. So I was saying, yeah, but I have a question because I didn't really get. I know that there are these filters, amazing filters, and actually I didn't know that were so realistic. So I really, because now that I can visualize, are really, I think, realistic. Of course, not like a picture, but I think in future we will achieve that goal.
Yeah.
But about metaverse, you said that you created some other avatars, but is it possible create like just the clothes and made the clothes wearable or not yet?
Yeah, that's something that I'm still trying to explore. So obviously there's lots of different metaverses, and I mean, you just have to kind of look at Roblox or kind of the Ready Player Me avatars, and they've both got different requirements for their garments. So at the minute, it's not easy. You'd have to kind of create different versions of, but this is something that I need to explore further. But I think there will be companies that are setting up to where hopefully you'll be able to import a style and then that converts it to the different platform requirements.
Okay.
I think that'll be something that comes along.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm interested too in this thing, and I'm speaking with many people, but this topic is not so clear yet.
I think the metaverse is still a bit of an unknown as well, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of talk around it, but whether anyone knows exactly what that is yet or what that looks like, I don't think so.
Yeah. And like, which kind of programs do you usually like to do 3D?
Yeah.
Do you prefer one program respect to another one, or yeah?
Yeah, so I mainly use Clo 3D, which you might have heard of other people say Marvelous Designer. So Marvelous Designer and Clo 3D are really kind of the same, but I think Clo 3D is more aimed at the fashion industry. So that's the one that I use mainly to create the patterns and obviously the garments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wanted to say another thing. Yeah, okay. Shall we go more in deep about what does it mean digital clothes are better, sorry, because you reduce the waste.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? Which is the proper difference between, yeah.
So for me, I was coming at it from a sort of sampling side. So initially, I was looking at it in terms of reducing my sampling. You know, that happens, and when you're sampling garments, sometimes it's not just one sample to get to that product. It can take, you know, up to 10, maybe more sometimes, where you're sampling bits of fabric as well. So there's lots and lots of waste that goes on there. But I think also now, obviously, because of this move into digital garments, and which can kind of, you know, you can use the AR filters, or with regards kind of social media, and people that are just buying clothes just for the sole purpose of having their photo taken. I think this is a great use case and a new way of being able to kind of reduce on that, and obviously add into this sustainable element of it. But for me, it's about reducing the waste in the supply chain. And obviously, as I mentioned, being able to sell garments digitally before they're even made has a massive impact on the industry, because obviously garments are not having to be pre-made on this assumption that they're going to be sold. You're only selling garments as they are being ordered. So it's kind of really helping to reduce waste.
Yeah, okay. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like, is it possible that during the fashion process, thanks to the digital, you know already how much material you can use in the physical like concept? So is it better to make first the digital one and then the physical one, because you already know like the percentage? Is it possible, something like that?
Yeah, so when you're working with pattern cutting softwares, not just Clo 3D, you always get a look at how much fabric is used. So obviously you can gauge that, but that always takes place within production anyway. You kind of always have this awareness of how much fabric is going to be used, and obviously try to place all the pattern pieces within that fabric to try to reduce less waste. There are other ways of pattern cutting which are trying to use kind of this zero waste, so trying to make use of the whole fabric, so there's no waste, which is obviously cut in between patterns as they're laid on fabric. Some of this waste is then, you know, the bits that aren't needed are thrown away. So there are people that are using zero waste within their pattern cutting techniques to obviously eliminate this excesses of waste as well. And obviously, yeah, if you wanted to, you could bring this technique within this pattern cutting software. So if you knew kind of the width of a fabric, you could start then playing around with ideas of laying out pieces and really start working in this way. And obviously, again, yeah, if you're working in this way, you're reducing waste from the initial start as well.
Okay, good. And another thing, would you like to share with us your feedback about the New Year Fashion Week? Because you've been there, right?
I didn't go actually. No, it
Okay.
was yeah, no, it was online. So so it was a really good event to be part of, and it was really nice to kind of be a designer to show there. So the year before that, obviously, I was kind of new to this digital fashion scene and was really kind of watching and viewing everything, and obviously there's lots of talks on there, really informative talks and information given. So to be part of it this year felt really exciting for me, and I felt like it really shown how much I'd progressed as well. So it was yeah, really nice, really exciting.
Yeah, I would like to for the next year to visit it, because yeah,
Yeah,
I think
no,
super
unfortunately I didn't
excited.
get to go, but I do, it does seem like they might be doing one in the UK as well, so I'll
Ah,
look out for that. Yeah, yeah.
when will be?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I need
Okay,
to look at that. I think February,
okay.
but I have seen that there is a Digital Fashion London, so I'll have a look at that in more detail. So that'd be good.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be nice to go there.
Yeah,
And just sharing this thing, because the other day I was watching Netflix, and because a topic of today is sustainability and the importance of it.
yeah,
I found this like program, this documentary about technology innovation, and I found like an amazing technology. And there was this guy, this like expert, that were saying that our future in fashion could be like the 3D print, and he was saying that um, basically all of us will have a 3D print,
yeah,
and with the same material, and like a sort of screen where there is the 3D digital clothes, so you can basically create your clothes
yeah,
and then print it like every day, maybe with the same material, so you're gonna use always the same one, and you can change it, the design. So
yeah.
have you heard something like that?
Yeah, this is it's an area, like I say, I really threw myself into everything and was looking at everything. So this is an area that I was looking at, and there's so many amazing designers actually working in 3D. So Danny Peleg, I think her name is creating and working. She's actually creating digital garments, but she's also creating garments that can be 3D printed. I can't remember the project now, but she just posted something quite recently and it looks really cool. But yeah, and they're even kind of talking about where we might be able to go out into our garden and just collect different things that can then become the filaments that can be 3D printed, you know. So who knows what the future holds, but yeah, the 3D printing is a really great way and an exciting way for fashion.
Yeah,
I think.
I think the same. Yeah. So I think we said everything. If you would like to add something, it's fine.
No, I
Or
feel
yeah.
like it's yeah, no, it's been
Okay.
really nice to come and chat with you.
Okay. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Estelle, and it was really nice.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.